Welcome back, everybody and anybody, to another video. It's been quite a bit of time since the last DBD IF, and that's on me. I originally took a break from them to work on a different what if video that is bigger, and it's way bigger than I thought, and it's taking way longer. And honestly, now I don't know when it will be done. It will just be, it's one of those videos where it will be done when it's done. So I decided to, start doing DBD IFs again, or at least do a couple more. So, yeah. And I thought it'd be fun to do some what if game modes. So, enjoy. Victor awoke, laying on cold, damp dirt. He scanned his surroundings. The all too familiar fog sprawled all around him, getting thicker the further it was to him. Something was different. Charlotte was nowhere to be seen. Ever since ending up in the entity's realm, they've never been apart, but now she was nowhere in sight. The only thing Victor could see was a campfire in the distance. The light was trying so hard to pierce the dense fog. Suddenly, the fog started to shift and swirled around Victor. In a blink of an eye, the fog enveloped Victor. The fog cleared, and Victor could see that he had been brought into a trial. Only he had something in his hand. He could see a generator a few feet from him, and he knew what the entity wanted. Kick the Baby is a 1v4 game mode. 1 killer, 4 survivors. On the killer side, you only play as Victor from the twins. The goal as Victor is to prepare 4 generators and escape through the exit gates. This is done by finding spark plugs around the map and installing them on the generators. It takes 2 spark plugs to finish a gen. It takes 2 seconds to pick up a spark plug. Each spark plug takes 10 seconds to install. Once every gen is done, the exit gates immediately open and Victor can escape through them, winning the match. Alongside Victor's usual pounce ability, he now has a new ability, Shadow Sister. Victor is able to spawn a shadow version of Charlotte. When he does this, he gains the undetectable status effect. It lasts for 30 seconds before the ability goes on cooldown for 15 seconds. Survivors are also able to dispel the Shadow Charlotte, to put the ability on cooldown earlier. When a survivor dispels the Shadow Charlotte, Victor gets Killer Instinct for 4 seconds. The survivor's goal is to kick Victor a total of 8 times before he completes all 4 gens. Victor can be kicked how he normally is when he misses an attack, but he can also be kicked whenever he is doing an interaction, picking up a spark plug, installing spark plugs, and if he is stunned, he can be kicked. When kicked, Victor will play his normal death animation and he will spawn as far away as possible from the survivors from the Shadow Charlotte. He also has a short immunity to being kicked again right after he spawns. If the survivors kick Victor the 8 times, Victor will be sacrificed to the entity, winning the game for the survivors. Victor is still able to attack and down the survivors. When he downs the survivor, he has the ability to send them to an entity cage far away. If all 4 survivors get put in a cage, the survivor who was the first to be caged will break out immediately. It takes a base time of 20 seconds for a survivor to break out the cage. This time is increased or decreased depending on which side is winning. When the exit gates open, endgame collapse starts like usual. If Victor doesn't leave before the timer runs out, or if the survivors don't kick him 8 times, both sides are sacrificed to the entity, and the match is counted as a tie. Quest rewards for the game mode include a badge, a banner, and a charm. The badge is Victor pouncing. The banner is Victor missing a skill check on Gen and Gen exploding. And the charm is a bloody spark plug. A Kick the Baby shirt can be bought from the store for all original survivors. It started as a normal day in the realm. Dwight lazed around the campfire until he got the familiar feeling of numbness come over him. Soon, a small mound of fog swirled around him. Opening his eyes, he was greeted with the sight of a car junkyard, a sight he was used to by now. He looked around and quickly took in a fountain that was obviously out of place. The killer was the plague. The day started to change quite quickly. Dwight saw in the distance Meg, Fong, and Jake working on Jen. Towards his right was the shack where from one side he saw David come out, who was followed by Hattie. That wasn't right. 6 survivors in one trial? Suddenly, Dwight felt a familiar pain shoot through him, and he heard a scream travel across the whole junkyard far away from him. He didn't have time to sit and think. He got to work on a generator that was close by. As he worked, his mind kept running over the unusual trial he found himself in. Another scream cut through the air, but Dwight kept working mindlessly on the gen. Behind him, he heard footsteps approaching him. They were too light to be the plague. However, Dwight could feel the same dread he became accustomed to whenever a killer was by him. The feeling only kept growing and growing until he couldn't take it anymore. He quickly swerved around. There he saw it. It looked like Jake, but he was shambling. His skin was a sickly green and had already started to slosh off, revealing his muscles and bone underneath. His eyes were vacant. Dwight heard him trying to speak, but it seemed his lungs were filled with some kind of fluid. He started to hack. His coughing only got worse until he coughed up something into his hand. The putrid smell hit Dwight, and he barely reacted when this thing suddenly threw whatever was in his hand at him. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't Jake anymore. Bummy and Me is a 1v8 game mode, 1 killer and 8 survivors. Plague is the only available killer. The goal for Plague is to infect and turn every survivor into a Plague zombie. The Plague can turn a survivor into a zombie in 2 ways. The first way is to down a survivor and put them in an entity cage 2 times. The second way is to fully infect a survivor and then down them, sending them to the cage. The Plague can pick between similar classes to those in 2v8, just changed to work solo. A Plague zombie helps the Plague by infecting interactables. They can do this by performing the interaction and passively infect them. The Plague zombies can also corrupt the fountains. It takes the same amount of time it takes a regular survivor to cleanse themselves. This also follows the same rules of the fountains, resetting if all fountains become corrupted. There are 6 total fountains, 5 start not corrupted. The Plague zombie has a range ability. The zombie can hold and form a ball of the infection. They can aim it like a snow skull, and holding it will increase the amount of infection that is given when thrown at a survivor. The Plague zombie can use this ability to infect interactions from a distance. They have 4 infection orbs before it goes on cooldown for 20 seconds. Plague zombies move at the same speed of normal survivors. If all 8 survivors are infected, the Plague wins. The goal for the survivor side is to complete 8 generators. Open the exit gates and leave. The survivors use the classes from 2v8 in this mode. Survivors can escape through the exit gates, as well as the last 2 survivors being able to escape through the hatch. Survivors are able to blind and stun Plague zombies. When the exit gates are open, endgame collapse starts. Any survivor that is still in the match by the end of the timer will be sacrificed like normally. Plague zombies are sacrificed at the end of the match, always. Quest rewards include a banner, a charm, and a cosmetic for both the Plague and Jane. The banner is a group of Plague zombies coming closer, while the charm is of an infection orb. The new cosmetic for the Plague is complete infection. The Plague has fully succumbed to the disease, leaving her now as a shambling corpse with bone and muscle showing through her rotting skin. Jane's new cosmetic is the Plague zombie. Jane succumbed to the Plague's infection and is now a mindless zombie. Her skin has given way in some places, revealing bone and rotting muscle. A green, vile liquid flows ceaselessly from them. The green aura surrounding infected survivors is absent in the new skin. And those were the game modes. I enjoy making this. This was kind of the quicker side for DBD IFs. Even though I kind of been holding off on recording, and my throw still doesn't feel the best, but I pretty much decided this had to be recorded and shit. So here we are. So if I sound off, that's why my throat is a little ugh. And it's been a little bit since I did kind of one of these, so but yeah, so my plan is to put out some more DBD IFs. I don't know how soon they'll be, but that is the goal, to put out at least a couple more. I got some good ideas for some, so yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like, comment, like the ideas for game modes that you have, and so yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a good day or night, Jesus Christ, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.